Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady D.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Totally excited for another episode of Dom Discussions with my good friend, Sir Dante. How you doing, Dante?
What's up, man? I'm so glad to be back.
It's been a while.
It has actually episode 78.
Holy shit.
I was sharing that with a friend of mine that wanted to hear one of mine or one of the ones I was on.
Right.
That was the last one.
So it has definitely been a while. Very excited to get into this. So our little submissives just finished recording their episode on collars, and we wanted to give you a Dom perspective of collars and the meanings and what they represent to us and our feelings about them. So let's jump right into it. All right. So what does a collar represent to you?
This topic that you brought up, it's always interesting when you say, hey, let's do a podcast, and you bring up the topic, because it makes me really look internally at what these things mean to me, but also outwardly, whether it's online or in the community,
right?
And how other people view it, and just trying to just figure it all out. So I learn a lot about myself and how I feel about things, and learning more about you, even though I consider us really good friends. I learn things about you all the time.
Exactly.
The easy answer to what does a collar mean or represent, which is still true. It's an easy thing though. It's a level of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say it's akin to a wedding ring. I'm sure the submissives probably said that too. But for me, who doesn't put as much stock into marriage,
right?
Collaring was my marriage.
Okay.
Or my engagement, which we'll probably get into a little bit more.
Right.
That is my symbol, the representation of me saying I am committed to you and us and wherever we're going to go.
Right. And that's, to me, that's very similar. Obviously my dynamic's a little different than yours. I am married to my submissive.
Right.
However, she was collared before we was married.
I didn't know. I thought you collared her when you got married.
Nope. So
Okay.
she was collared prior to us getting married. And again, we moved fast in the relationship, in the DS dynamic and everything. We moved extremely fast. So fast that when we stop now and look back on it and reflect, it's kind of scary how fast we moved.
Uh-huh.
We met on a Saturday, and we have seen each other every day except for that following Monday after we met. That was the only day
until now
in our relationship until now that we have not seen each other. So everything moved quickly. I can't complain. Again, everything was handed to me on the table. This is what she wants. This is what she needs. This is what she has to have.
Mm-hmm.
And with it being new to me, researching, doing all this, so then it was like collaring, all this kind of stuff, but it still had to be at a certain time in our relationship before actually saying, yes, this is a collar you will wear every day. I'm a little different on collaring than what you are, and we're going to get into that.
Okay.
For her, with the job that she has, obviously walking around at her job with a collar that says owned or daddy's toy or
Sir's Fox
Sir's
before the
Fox.
YouTube.
Like you have that was kind of out of the question right off the bat, and we knew that. So she has a variety of collars. She has day collars that are discreet. She has
Mhm.
chokers. She has certain things. We even went and bought just a gold necklace that would
Right.
act as a collar in case she couldn't wear one. So our collaring is totally different than what yours is. You have, obviously an actual collar that she has to wear all the time. So ours is a little different than that. So
But
let's
would you say they represent roundabout
it
the same
represents
thing?
that she is submitting to me, that she gives up that control to me. And with that, it shows that she trusts me, she respects me, she's willing to follow me. And it shows for me that I'm the one that she looks to for guidance when needed. I'm the one that she looks to for structure. I'm the one that she looks to for grounding.
Mhm.
I'm the one that she looks to as her protector, as her safe person, as her safe place. So all of
Yeah.
that with the collar is what it means to me.
I'm glad you touched on the other half of it because it's not all about what you expect of
Right.
her to submit. It's also it adds a level of self accountability
Yes.
to me to know that I've offered her this collar, she's accepted. Yeah,
Right.
that's great. She'll do all the things
Exactly.
outlined, but
Right.
what's my part in it? My part
Yep.
doesn't end because I gave it to her. Now she's
Oh no.
expected to do all this. There's a laundry list of things, as you
Right.
know, that we have to maintain and do and be
Yes.
to continue earning the right for them to wear it,
Yep.
submit.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's again, it's a self-reflection.
Privilege. Not
Privilege.
right,
There you
but
go.
you
Good.
knew
Good.
what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It does. Whenever I see her with a collar on, it is a self-reflection of what it means, not only to her. I'm excited to listen to their episode to find out
Right.
exactly what that collar means to them. But for me, it's okay. She has chosen me to be her dominant. She has chosen
Mhm.
me to lead her, to protect her, to offer her safe places to be, and to accept her vulnerability, and for her to freely express herself. So it's a big self reflection every time I see one.
Would you change? My answer is yes to this question. Would you change how you went about collaring her? You had mentioned it, everything moved fairly
Move fast.
quickly. You didn't
Yes.
say how long before you collared her, but I think
I
a
honestly
lot
don't
of
even
the
know. It was fast.
yeah, a lot of people in the community probably have various opinions on how fast
Right.
you should do it, and it's going to depend on. But looking back, if you knew what you know now, then would you change the speed or the order or the criteria or the expectations or anything with the collaring
I
process?
don't know that I would change how fast it happened. I would have liked to have done something like you did with a collaring ceremony.
It's funny you consider that a ceremony because we talked about that beforehand, and I don't know, that wasn't the intention.
Right.
That wasn't the intention, but it came off that way. Yeah.
It did. And the way you all done, you done yours in the middle of a demo. You all was doing a demo for Club Tempted
Hmm.
when you presented her
It
with
was this orange one.
that collar. But just the fact of having friends there, people of the same interest there, we didn't have that. We didn't, it was just me and her. When we picked out, it's what started off as her play collar. And then, in our contract, it was, you must wear a collar. And again, I'm not as strict. I am very lenient with what she wears. I'm very lenient with her putting her collars on and off. For us, there is one collar that she never takes off by herself, and that is her play collar.
Well, then you're actually more strict than I am.
Why is that?
She's allowed to exchange or change her collars. Now she has to put
Okay.
on whatever, if at any given time I tell her to put whatever one on, she
Right.
has to do that.
Okay.
But she can change them out on her own. I
Okay.
think the strictest part would be like she's not allowed to carry a key with her. So if there's a lock on any of them,
Right.
her eternity collar takes a certain Allen wrench to take
Yes.
off.
Yes.
She's not allowed to keep that on her, but she is allowed to freely exchange them out.
Right. And that's what Lady D does. She gets to, of a morning, she gets ready, she picks out what collar she wants with that outfit.
Mm-hmm.
In the afternoon when she gets home, she can take that collar off. I don't expect her to wear it 24/7. I know that's a little different for you, and we're going to get into that here in a minute.
Yeah.
But so this collar here, now she is allowed to grab this collar. She is not allowed to put this collar on, and she's not allowed to take this collar off.
She had that one on when we showed up today.
And I put it on her.
Did you take that off her for her to change into the other one?
Ooh.
I don't remember seeing that.
Ooh. Very good point there. How did this come off? So, yes.
You did take it off?
No, I did not. Lady D, you are in trouble. Thanks to Sir Dante bringing that. She did have a different collar on. I didn't take this one off.
You say that. Let's kind of get into that because I actually do have some points about being in trouble.
Right.
When it comes to collars. She probably didn't intentionally do that. Maybe she did it at the last minute.
I would say she didn't intentionally do it, no.
Yeah, it may have crossed her mind, but it wasn't a...
She may have changed it during the podcast too. So, I mean, there could be a good reason as to why, but trust me, I'm going to find out why it was removed. But that is the only restriction on collars I have. Now, this one stays in my Dom box because it goes with us anywhere we go. This is her play collar. She has asked, can I wear that collar at certain times? And I go, I get it and I put it on her. Normally like at the club or whatever, she will wear this home until we get home, and then I'll take it off and remove it. But that is the only collar rule that I have. There's two of them. She has to wear a collar when she leaves, and this is the one that I put on her and take off of her.
We have some rules around them, and actually some of them came about not at the beginning, but due to our experiences since we started this dynamic where she was collared. And actually one of them was something you're very familiar with, was when she decided to take her collar off as a very poor bratting attempt.
Right.
At the club.
I remember that very well.
And she got in a lot of trouble for that, right?
Oh yeah.
Because of that incident, we actually had a change order in our contract where she's not allowed to be sassy, bratty, or whatever in regards to collars. She can't remove it to be playful, to poke at me or whatnot.
Okay.
So that's because it made me feel a certain type of way. She was okay with it. She thought it was fun or whatnot.
Fun
She
and
was kind of
playful.
testing the waters, right? Yep. But I felt so strongly about it that I had to ask for a contract change because of that. So now there's no sassy, there's no bratty behavior.
But also on the flip side of that, so let's talk about the eternity collar that you give Zora. So how do you look at that eternity collar? Is that her collar? Is that the only collar that she is required to wear?
No, so our rules essentially state that she has to wear a collar at all times. A collar.
Okay, so does the eternity collar count as it?
Yep, the eternity collar counts as one.
So what if now let's say she has the Sirs Fox on with the eternity collar, and she chooses to take the Sirs Fox collar off?
She is only allowed to remove a collar for a couple of reasons. One is to replace it with another, which needs to be done immediately. No time, I'm going to take this off because I just got home from work and I'll put another one on at night. That's not allowed. And she's allowed to remove them to clean them. Actually, she has specifically 15 minutes to clean the eternity collar. She has to do that once a week.
Okay.
She can take it off and leave it off for 15 minutes. So she usually puts it in the solution we have, takes a shower, comes out, puts it back on.
Okay.
And that's really it. Say she had to go through a metal detector. She, at the airport, she would know beforehand. So we'd have that discussion. She could carry the key with her at that point.
Right.
And that'd be okay. But beyond those couple instances, she has to wear one 24/7. Which one doesn't matter. Okay. And that kind of goes into, I think, some of these points that we were going to talk about. The physical collar, regardless of which one it is simply a representation of that commitment, of that
Right.
dynamic. You could call it a permanent collar. You had mentioned final collars kind of in the pre notes or whatnot. I was like, I've never heard of final collar, but it's
No.
essentially a permanent collar.
Right.
Um, regardless of what collar she has on, they all take on that representation of our dynamic.
Right. Perfect. All right. So let's talk a little bit about deciding to collar a submissive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what criteria do you find that a person has to meet in order to collar them?
I side at this one because, like you, I moved fairly quickly.
Okay.
She was my first introduction to the formal side of kink and BDSM.
Yep. Check mark. Same.
Right. So yeah, I was kinky and playful and aggressive or whatever before her, but a DS, what was that?
Right.
BDSM, I couldn't tell you what that stood for, Never even heard of 50 Shades of Grey before I met her. Like, that's how outside of
Right.
it I was.
Right.
So my answer then would be different from my answer now.
Yep. As you've grown. Yep.
Yeah. But so to me, BDSM is so ingrained in my day-to-day life and who I am and my path forward, that if I'm going to collar someone permanently as a 24/7 dynamic, a lot of the criteria I'm looking for would be similar to if I'm looking for a relationship versus someone that maybe they have a relationship. We know people in the lifestyle that have a vanilla relationship and they have a DS dynamic with someone else.
Right.
We both
Yes.
have both.
Yes.
So the first half of it is they need to be a life partner that our values, our goals align with.
Okay.
Right. And then on the kinky side, I want someone that's going to help me grow, which also can apply to vanilla, but I want them to help me grow and I want to push myself. I want to know that they'll say yellow. I trust them to
Trust. Yep.
Where's that trust that I know you're going to say when enough is enough? Do I know that when something hairy comes up and we got to have a hard conversation, that conversation's goal is going to be to work together to figure out how to move forward and not a who can win this argument type
Right.
thing.
Right.
And also put that on the vanilla side. You want that on the vanilla side.
Exactly.
So it's really the values in life moving forward that need to align.
And I would agree with that. It had I known then what I know now, would it have happened very fast? I don't know. I don't know how it would work. I mean, ultimately, I'm very happy things worked out the way I did. But from where I'm at now, moving forward, yes, it wouldn't be, oh wow, I meet somebody. Oh, you want to be a submissive? Here's a collar.
Right.
It would it would take time. It would take building that trust. It would having that respect, knowing that the open lines of communication are there, and knowing that you're both feel comfortable enough and safe enough to talk to each other in a calm demeanor to be able to work out issues without it becoming an argument or a huge disagreement or a fight or anything like that. It would be having your structure, your foundation solid, and start working on your dynamic before even considering collaring another one.
Do you know what neither one of us even mentioned? This is just now hitting me. We didn't say, "Oh, I want a heavy bottom. I want a masochist. I want someone that will do rope. I want a girl that'll
Right.
do X, Y, and Z sexually." We didn't say
Right.
that because that's not.
It's that
I want the right person, and
Right.
then we'll figure out the kinks
exactly.
and whatnot. That'll come
Right.
naturally.
I mean, because it would be hard to say. I mean, I for me to sit here and say I want a pure masochist, I don't know that I would fucking enjoy that. Knowing that every time I would have to inflict some type of pain, mental pain, physical pain, I don't know that I could do that.
But the person behind that title is more important to us
Exactly.
than the actual kink.
Yes. It's building again, it's building that foundation. And what that foundation looks like right now, I couldn't tell you. Now, there's aspects of it I would like, and if there was part of the aspect that I wanted that wasn't there, then it would be, it'd be at a fork at a road. Would it, can I not do this, but in return be able to do this? Maybe. I don't know. But again, yeah, it would be the person, it would be the personality, it would be starting that communication and building that foundation.
You say that, and that opens the door, whether or not you realize it or not. We are both allowed to play with others within our
Yeah,
own
within reason.
rules.
Yep.
Yeah, within reason and whatnot. So if you have something you wanted to try with Lady D, and she essentially said no, she didn't want to do it, you have some level of freedom to seek that elsewhere.
Yeah. To a
Within
point.
to the
To a
point.
point.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I
So
do.
same with Zora. If there was something I wanted to
Right.
try, and she's like, it's kind of a limit.
Oh, you got to
It,
silence that shit.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I have an alarm for this time of night, but and that's kind of the E&M part, or the open part, or
Right.
lifestyle in general, is that we can seek that elsewhere if there's a limit. And I think
Right.
that freedom,
Oh, it helps.
it's great.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It
great.
definitely helps. Absolutely. All right. What do you consider responsibilities of the caller when it shifts from just a play figure to an actual dynamic? What responsibilities do you take on that?
So on a high level, she's giving me, when she accepts my caller, this level of trust. She's giving me her body, her mind, her schedule, her eating habits, whatever it is. She's giving this all to me, and when I accept it, I feel like I have to give something in return. I bear this responsibility that eats at me if I don't feel like I'm upholding my side.
Right.
So like mentally and internally, that's the, I don't want to say struggle, but that's the thought, is I got to make sure I'm giving back as much as she's given. She's given
Right.
a lot. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So whether it's I'm helping on day-to-day stuff, like making sure she drinks water and take vitamins, or I'm making sure that the fun part, and not in the bedroom, but the fun part outside the bedroom, which could be the task or the little flirting back and forth, or even
Right.
the relationship stuff, making sure that stays kind of vibrant and ongoing.
Right.
It's she has a strong desire to learn and grow and see what else is out there, and be a part of the community, to give back to the community. And I've by collaring her and her accepting it, I'm taking on
You're
some
taking
of
the
that
responsibility.
responsibility to help her and us get there.
Right.
And then of course you have all the bedroom fun.
Oh,
Right.
that's
Right.
that's the best part
Well,
of
yeah.
collaring is the bedroom and the dungeon fun.
Right.
But yes, then you take into the everyday life stuff, like you said, making sure that the habits are there. Um, and for me, like, you know, things that I'm still learning and that I'm still working on, the huge factor of a DS dynamic is the structure. And having the structure and the rules and making sure that that is followed is what creates the strong dynamic. So by putting a collar on, that's where that second full-time job that I've always talked about comes in.
Right. Right.
Yes, you get the fun aspects of it. You get to be a little bit selfish. I want to try something different, and this is what we're going to try tonight.
Mhm.
But also on the flip side of that, you also have to look at their health, their safety, their physical abilities,
Mhm.
what they can and can't do. Let's say you've seen a scene where, a woman had her legs behind her head in a scene, but you got to look, well, what if your submissive isn't that flexible?
Right.
So you have to take all that responsibility in and say, okay, well, we can't do that, but let's try something different. But yes, it is. It's a huge responsibility to collar your submissive, and knowing what job you have that you have to follow with.
It shouldn't be taken lightly.
It shouldn't be. No,
Collaring should
it
not be
can't be.
taken lightly.
Absolutely not. And it happens. You know, there's people that will collar rather quickly,
Right.
and
And to each their own. Everyone has their own
everybody.
pace.
And again, you look back on ours, I'm sure we would be criticized for how fast we moved
I
in
would
that.
criticize myself
Right.
looking back. You know,
And
if there
that's what
was
I'm
a
saying.
niece
Yeah,
standing right here, I would
exactly.
give them some tips and pointers,
Right.
you know, to move forward with.
But again, it all depends on your relationship. It all depends on the dynamic. You know, it's one of those things, you know, people say when you know, you know. You know, so would I go back and change anything? Fuck no. But it does take a whole lot of responsibility with it.
We've learned the hard way. How about that?
But it's been fun.
Oh yes. Oh, very much.
So I'm sitting here and I'm looking. I see I'm holding one collar, and you've got like 500 over there.
We
So-
brought a few.
so
Not all of them, but we brought some.
I'm definitely curious in getting into talking about the different type collars you've got over there. So give me a rundown of what you got.
Of just these 5. Should I go grab the rest of them? The Sir's Fox collar is actually the first one
Yep.
I gave her, and that's one I think we've talked about it even on your podcast before, and you were there.
We was there that night.
Yeah,
Yes.
where I offered to collar her, and she accepted. And this was the one I got her. So, that's kind of that. This one, all it says is Sirs. It's black and silver.
Okay.
I actually put fur on the inside of this one to make it nicer because this one can be, the orange one can be kind of rough.
Right.
We were doing another demo at Tempted, at Club Tempted, and I had a friend of ours help us out, and I wanted to put her in a collar, but I didn't want to collar her.
Okay.
It could equate to like a play collar, right? It
Right.
wasn't a scene necessarily, but we were doing a demo, and I wanted her
Right.
to adorn or to have something to kind of show she's with the group. So I bought this collar. It's the second one I bought that says Sirs. I would consider this a play collar now.
Okay.
Right. There's no rules like there is. We haven't touched on it, but there's rules around Sirs Fox's collar, her eternity collar, and another one that she has that doesn't go on anyone else.
Okay.
But this Sirs one can.
Okay.
This one,
I love that one.
Yeah. Do not interact is what it says for those just listening and not watching. Big, thick, heavy collar.
Yes.
Says do not interact like you would see on like a dog collar.
Yep.
When you're not supposed to interact with the dog. And I use this as a punishment one night at the club.
Yes.
Zora is very much a talker, very social.
What? No way.
Yeah. She could probably do an episode just by herself, maybe a couple,
3 or
on
4.
any topic. So she earned a punishment, and that was her punishment for the night, was to wear that one. This one Zora actually bought for me.
Okay.
Because I have an interest in pet play.
Yep.
I had a date with a woman that was actually experienced in pet play, and she bought this collar for me to use on this woman, and a variety of other things, including the cage
Right.
that we have downstairs. So
And it's got the little bell
it has
on
the
it.
bell. It's pink with a little bow on it. That's a lot of fun. This last one we bought at
I know exactly where you got that.
King Tasia.
King Tasia
first King Tasia.
2024.
Yeah, 24.
Yep. And I remember that because I had to.
Were you the one that
I
pointed
was-
this out to me?
I was the one that held it for 2 months before her birthday.
Yep. I bought it and you held on to it.
Yep.
And then, because I didn't want her to see it before her birthday.
Yep.
This is another one. We consider this a play collar.
Okay.
So I'm allowed to use it on others, but when she wears it, it represents,
Right.
just like her eternity collar would, that same level of commitment. But if I put it on someone else, it doesn't represent that.
It doesn't. All right. It's just a
simply
play collar for a
To
scene.
play for a scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, and so, this one is mostly, this is always used for play. We only have the one play collar. So anytime we enter into a scene, whether it's at the club, whether it's at home, this is the collar that goes on her. She has asked a few times to wear it out at events or something, and then we put it on. But this is also the collar that if she needs to be taken care of or wants to play, this is the collar that she has to go get and bring to me to put on. And again, she has a whole closet full of other chokers, day collars, regular collars to her liking of what she wants to wear.
Both of our submissives are a little bougie when it comes to like dressing and matching.
Yeah,
and,
shit's got to match. It absolutely does.
Hey, before we get too far, I have a question for you.
Okay,
I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here.
bring it on.
But I'm very curious. So
I do the editing so I can fix anything.
Yeah. So you have an episode, I don't know how far back, about poly dynamics and maybe E&M. I forget the exact heading, but y'all describe the desire for a third in some kind of DS format dynamic. I don't know exactly what that looks like for you, but the question would be, would you be open to collaring this third? And if you did, how would what that collar represent be different than what the collar Lady D wears or what it represents? Would those be different?
Yes and no. All right, moving on.
No, you got to answer this one.
Yeah, I will answer it. So sitting here and telling you ultimate goal would be, yes, we would find a third. We might be a little too picky in what we're wanting. So I don't know if that will ever really happen.
But perfect world, you would say they would be equal?
Perfect world, what we would want would be a single female that is into BDSM that would want to enter into a dynamic with me to be my submissive, and would be a best friend to Lady D with the ability of Lady D topping on occasion, doing scenes with them, impact, sensual, wax, any of that stuff. She would not be a dominatrix or anything to this person,
right?
But would want the ability to top on occasion. The third would have to be bi-curious, at least. Lady D enjoys playing with a woman. So a little in return would be great. But going to collars, long-term ultimate goal, yes. It would be nice to have this third person collared. How would that put with Lady D? It would put her on the same platform as Lady D when it comes to DS. It would be, I know people talk hierarchies, and all of this. And what me and Lady D have, first off, not only are we DS, we're married.
Right. You have a whole life
So
outside
we
of
have
that.
a whole life outside of the DS dynamic. So ultimately, hierarchy, Lady D would be higher. The fact that we're married, we have this life. But when it comes to the DS side, they both would be submissives. So collaring someone it's going to take time. Again, we'd have to build the trust. We would have to have the respect. We'd have to have the mutual agreement that this is how it's going to be. It will be the three of us. Now, we would be more than willing to include them in our day-to-day activities and our vanilla life stuff. If we go to an event with friends that's vanilla, would love for this person to go, and it would be more than a DS dynamic. It would be a relationship with all three of us. So ultimate goal.
The collar on this third, you'd want to still represent the level of commitment in a DS dynamic that you have with Lady D, and your side too, where you would have the responsibility similar to what you have with Lady D on the DS side, but not necessarily the vanilla life.
Wouldn't have to be, no.
Yeah.
Ultimate goal, yeah, it would be. I mean,
Right.
for us, when we talk about this,
You
when we
already have
think about
one
this,
great one. You're
yeah,
trying to hoard them. Like, come on
I
now,
know, and
shed love.
I still don't know if I've got the energy and the stamina, but I'm willing to try it.
You joke about that, but that is
I'm
a
willing. It
serious.
is.
Like,
I'm willing.
physically, are you capable?
I'm willing to try.
Never back down from a challenge.
Never back down from a challenge. I'm willing to give it a shot. It may go down in flames, but
At least
but
it'll be a
yes,
good time.
it would be fun for a little bit. But yes, that's kind of what we're looking for. What we're and when it comes to the collaring, yes, it would ultimate end goal would be to have another collared submissive.
More power to you. Couldn't do it.
Uh,
And I mean that like
You know-
physically. I don't know if I'm capable or have
you
the
only
time.
live
and-
once. You only live
Yeah.
once. All right. Here's an interesting one. When to remove a collar. We're going to have to make sure and talk to Lady D immediately after this.
Mhm.
But when I think of removing a collar, and I know Zora done it that night, just kind of poking the bear a little bit with you.
Oh, she whacked me across the face with a baseball bat at that point.
Yeah,
wasn't a
that
poke.
was huge.
Yeah.
But for me, so I know that one night was playful, so I can't really count that. But if Lady D was to ever come to me and say, I do not want to wear a collar, to me, that would be the end of a DS dynamic. It would be, again, it would be a huge blow. But what are your thoughts on a submissive wanting to remove a collar? Is there any other examples you could think of as to why they would want to remove it?
That's kind of two different questions. So the why, when I think why, I'm looking internally. What am I doing wrong? She
Yep.
doesn't want to be part of this dynamic anymore. She's not getting what she needs. I really, really messed up. Something along those lines when you ask why. But regardless of the why or who did what side of the slash is responsible, if that collar comes off, whether I tell her to take it off in like an ending fashion or she takes it off and says, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, that with Zora, that would be the end.
Right.
That there would be no coming back from that.
Right.
I would say it's similar to, say you're in a regular vanilla relationship and you live together, say you're married. I want to take a break. I think I'm going to move.
Right.
I need about 6 months to myself to figure out if this is the right thing. No, we're either going to figure that you're either going to keep that collar on and we're going to figure this out or this is it. There is no take it off. Let's see how it, it's black and white. It's very black and white for me.
And that's exactly the way I am. But thinking about, to our listeners and stuff, if you did move too fast in the beginning and you
Good
knew
point.
you were moving too fast in the beginning and you put a collar on it, and then, if things got rocky, if things got bumpy, taking the collar off and restructuring, I can kind of see it both ways.
Yeah. This is kind of an odd scenario, right? So you got into a dynamic, you both realize this is a whole lot too fast. Do we even want to DS? I'm just talking from like personal experience. If something like that would have happened, like we're both on the same page that we do want a DS, we do want the kink, we do want that, but we realize, we moved way too fast and we're kind of overwhelmed. I would want to keep the collar. I would argue very strongly to keep the collar, and let's just rename it or recategorize it. And it sounds cheap, and maybe it does cheapen collars as a whole,
Right.
But if I look back with the same knowledge I have now back then, we didn't get into like different types of collars, but you could kind of consider that the Sir Fox collar as a consideration and or training collar. That period between that first collaring, and we didn't touch on it, but she got the eternity collar at our grand reveal party for Ex Libra. So there's about a year or so in between that. And that's also when I presented her the contract. We learned a lot, whole lot about ourselves, our desires, our DS in that year.
Right.
And I would consider that a training or consideration period. So if we move too fast and we realize that in the first month and
Then you could
neither
put it
one
on
of us want
pause.
to end it, yeah, let's keep a collar, but let's call it something else. And that's
Right.
just to salvage what we have,
Right.
knowing what the goal is down the road.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned there that we didn't talk about different type of collars. So what different type collars do you recognize? So you said training collar. You got the Sirs Fox, and it was her collar, and it meant all of that to you. But do you consider that kind of a training collar, or was it a learning collar? How would you classify that?
I would classify it different now. And I mentioned this when we first started this episode is I learned so much when I'm forced to kind of reflect on some of
Right.
these notes and do a little bit of research and hear what other people have to think or say. Is that even though when I gave the Sirs Fox this orange one to her, it was meant as a permanent
Right.
collar. Looking back, I would consider it more in the consideration category,
Okay.
meaning we've been together a few months. We're hot and heavy into this. We're both kind of moving in the right direction, but we don't really know enough about each
Right.
other yet.
So you'd kind of like a commitment collar. Like
An engagement ring,
right, like
maybe.
yes. So
Promise ring,
I
which
am
is kinda-
committed to you, but with the understanding that we're both still learning each other, kind of
Mhm.
thing. Yep.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, an engagement
let-
ring.
yeah. Let's purposely over the next X months, year, whatever it is, you don't have to
Right.
put a time frame on it. Let's be purposeful about how we move forward in the near future to build a strong, solid 24/7 DS.
Right.
But that's how I would view it now, looking back.
Okay.
Just I didn't at the time.
What do you consider a training collar?
I don't really have necessarily
I
any
mean,
experience.
I
But
don't either. That's why I was going to ask, see if you had any, or what would you consider a training collar? I mean, for people that's listening.
Okay. If I was to try to put into words or a definition, um, first of all, I would have to be if I'm giving a trainer collar or letting someone wear a training collar of mine, that I'm assuming I'm training them, right? Which means I'm the
Okay.
trainer, which means I'm experienced, which I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I've been doing this a long time. So a trainer training collar, maybe it kind of falls under this person's kind of new.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I don't necessarily.
Would it
This
be
is a hard
just-
one for me to
Yeah.
answer.
I mean, and this is all in our bullet points that, we just kind of skipped around on. But yeah, I'm sitting there looking at, training collars, permanent collars, symbolic collars.
Protection collar. That's one I can kind of give you an answer.
Okay.
to.
Protection collars. Talk
So,
about that.
protection collar. Being open, I have the freedom to meet other girls. And a lot of times, what kind of draws them to me is that BDSM kink aspect, right? Maybe they don't have any experience and they're like, ooh, this guy kind of seems like he knows what he's doing. Let me talk to him or not. Say I found one of these girls and she got really serious about getting into kink.
Mm-hmm.
I think over time, I could see myself having a desire to put a protection collar on someone as a symbol of maybe even you could call it a training to help guide them from just entering this world to finding a dynamic of their own, not a dynamic with me,
Right.
but as they move within the world and within the community,
Right.
that they have something that someone will see,
Right.
that shows them there's someone behind that
That's
that
helping
collar
this
on
guy out.
them.
And that's
Yeah.
that's what I would go back to training collar would be somebody that wants to experience, somebody that wants to explore, but not sure where they fit in exactly.
Mhm.
I would see like a training collar of, okay, you wear this, here's your tasks, here's the rules, this is what you're going to follow. You may not be right for me, I may not be right for you, but this gives both of us the opportunity to explore and experience things to help us grow, to help us find our direction, or to even help us find our people. Because, I mean, as you both know, I mean, somebody that enters through Club Tempted that's interested in BDSM, they circle around, they find our group. And there's been times they have fit well in our group,
Mhm.
where they felt like they fit in and we felt like they fit in, and they've become part of our group. And
I-
then there's the ones that like, yeah, we kind of like different stuff and, which is cool. But that's kind of where I would see a training collar is experimenting, exploring, trying to find where you fit at in the BDSM world.
I'll take a little bit. I'll put a different spin on it.
Okay.
Now that I'm kind of thinking about it. That collar would have meaning. It wouldn't
It would still have
mean
meaning.
it wouldn't mean as much as like this permanent
Right.
collar that Zora wears.
Okay.
One of them, but I would have some level of responsibility to this person to help guide them through the world.
To let them experience and help them find where they belong.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And there would be check-ins. Maybe it's task or read this book, read that book, whatever it is. There would be an enhanced level of responsibility that I would feel towards them.
Right.
But
Yeah.
not a full on.
Not a full on, but yeah, with to me, in my eyes, regardless of what collar you choose to use, there is still a certain aspect of responsibility that ties along with that. You're not just going to go out and give somebody a collar and say, here you go, and set you free. I mean, because that's, to me, that's not what collaring is. With each collar, whether it's a training, whether it's a permanent, whether it's actually part of a dominant sub, master slave, whatever dynamic, each collar has some sort of responsibility that comes with it. And the further you get in that collaring, the bigger the responsibility becomes.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Damn. Unfortunately, we are out of time.
Are we out of time?
We are out of time. Hopefully we hit on, we hit on a lot of the bullet points we were supposed to hit on.
Yeah.
Is there anything in your notes
that I just have to,
that we just have to get out on this episode? I mean, ultimately we can always come back for more.
I'm going to add one thing because I think this is really important because it led to a contract change. So we changed the contract when she messed around, attempted, took her collar off, poking the bear type thing. And we learned from that. And then I won't go into what she did, but there was something that she deserved a strong punishment for.
Okay.
Right. And this is different than that situation at the club. Her punishment was I took her collar off for 24 hours. I didn't take her collar away like we're no longer in a dynamic. This is your punishment is you don't get to physically wear this collar. The representation of our dynamic is not on your neck for 24 hours. That, sad to say, crushed her.
I can see that.
It absolutely crushed her. And I did not anticipate how much it really hurt her.
I can honestly, knowing how Zora is and knowing how she feels about collars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was not my intention. Obviously, I didn't know it was going to hurt her that much.
Right.
You could even say, hey, I messed up. And when she came back from that, took a couple days. Yeah, she got it back, but it took her a while to like come back down to earth. We again had more discussions and we changed the contract again where punishments do not include taking collars off like that anymore.
But again, I'm like you. I wouldn't have, in the instance that you've done it, I wouldn't have thought it. But now that you've said that and then connecting all the dots of everything for collars
she was
on her.
Stuck in bed. It was bad.
Holy shit.
It was bad.
I can see that. Because I was sitting there thinking when you were saying that, I was like, ooh, I might add that as a punishment.
Do not recommend.
0 stars, do not recommend. Yep. Very well. Very good note taken right there. All right. Well, again, Sir Dante, thank you so much for coming on, discussing collars with us. We say this every time. We got to do this more often because I really enjoy sitting down, talking with you, picking your brain a little bit, getting a little bit more understanding. I know you said it earlier. I mean, we've known each other for years, but there's still so much that, I mean, just in random everyday conversation doesn't come out until we get here. So it has. I really enjoy having you on. Thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
You all come back next week for another brand new episode. We look forward to seeing you. Have a good week.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.